On the way out here, I don't know, for whatever reason, certain songs click in my head, and I heard the song Happy on the way out here, and I thought, well, if that doesn't fit this just to the T. But just so you know, when I bought my new truck last year, the first song it played on it is I Shot the Sheriff. So, I kind of try to wipe that one out of my mind. But how happy this is to put this out here. And I have to go back about 30 years when I was a brand new deputy, and I can remember this one house, and it was off on 304th Avenue, just off of Highway 50, and we were called there 2, 3, 4 times a week. We had one woman call us 3, 4 times a week. I mean, it was without fail, and we went there, and every time we got there, it was the exact same scene. Her clothes were ripped, her face, she was crying, she was bloody, she had bruises. Her 2 kids were tattered. The house was in disarray. There were holes in the walls. There was no lamps or no shades on the lamps. The light fixtures had nothing other than a light bulb sticking out of it. And the husband was drunk. And we didn't have domestic violence back then. And seriously, for 2 years, 2 to 4 times a week, we were going in and taking care of her. I can still picture her. And finally, and we didn't have the laws that we do now. Thank God we do, because we couldn't do anything unless she were to tell us what happened. And every time, she never, ever would say what happened. She goes, I fell. But the same things that you all know that people say. And finally one day, I was just had enough. And I said, we're tired of coming here. We know what happens. We know what he does to you, but you never, ever, ever say a word of what happened. Stop calling us. And she started crying more. And I told her, one of the things I said, you know what? If you would get rid of the tears in your eyes, the bruises on your face, had clothes that didn't have holes, I said, you are beautiful. And that's when she started crying. And she goes, no one has said that to me in years. And for the first time, she actually told me what happened after a couple of years of going there. She goes, I'm terrified of what will happen. I'm terrified that I'll have no place to go. The kids won't have money. They won't be able to do anything. My husband took me here I'm from someplace else. And for the very first time, she said what happened, and I arrested her husband and brought him to jail for battery to his wife. And 2 months later, we didn't get a single call there from that house again. I found out from the husband that she had divorced him, or they were in a process at that point, and she'd moved away back to where she was from, and her husband actually thanked me. He goes, I've been sober for 2 months. Since the day you arrested me, I hadn't drank anything. I hadn't beat up my wife again. My kids actually got to see what their father was like when he wasn't intoxicated. So it was a realization that I didn't picture ever coming from him. And he looked like a person that you could actually talk to for the very first time that I've known him for 2 years. And I remember with different situations like that, we always say, well, women's and children's, they'll help you, but they're in Kenosha. And people go, I'm not going to go that far. The fact that you are here now, this is huge for Western Kenosha County. This is to a lot of women and children out here, this is a godsend for them, and you are their saviors. And for all those that made this come together, you are angels for Western Kenosha County. Thank you for doing it.
Well, I introduced Sheriff Beth as our special guest. I guess I really should say you're our special friend, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being